Good afternoon. Welcome back. So we're now going to hear from Damien Clarkson, who's a co-founder of Vevolution with his partner Judy, and he's the director of the creative agency Growing Box, where he helps social change organisations tell their stories. And in 2016, he co-created a film called Swine. We're going to see a trailer of that, which is available on YouTube. And he's a widely published writer, and he often writes for The Guardian and Huffington Post. Wrote a brilliant article recently in the Huffington Post, which got a lot of airplay. And he created Vevolution because he believes veganism is a social justice movement. And he started, actually it's a very important part of my journey, because before Vevolution was Vegan Futures, and I'd hunted hard about whether to go, and I left it too late, the tickets were sold out, and I wrote Damien a pitch to say, you really got to invite me because I'm a new vegan, I'm going to share the message. And bless him, he gave me a ticket. I also did the same to the organiser of the Thames Marathon, which was also full. He also gave me a place, but I decided to forgo that and come to Vegan Futures.
Make my choice.
I know, exactly. Vegan Futures became Vevolution in November 2016. We were there, 500 plus people. It was an amazing event in London. Biggest vegan conference in Europe. And there's also an evening event series as well, which covers things like fashion and food and fitness and advocacy and all sorts of other things. Anyway, I'll hand you over to David.
Thanks, Dave. I thought I'd speak on my presentation now. I might as well just skip to the Q&A. Okay.
Use the mic there if you wanted it, though.
Great. I think it's going to be okay.
Okay.
Thanks. So yeah, a little bit about me. Steve's said a lot. So we're Vevolution, and we're an events and media company. So we like to say that we showcase people with the ideas to change the world. And the Growing Box has now evolved into Vevolution, and so we also help vegan brands tell their stories through social media and other digital channels. So yeah, this is Vevolution in November. So there was 500 people there. I was really nervous. Had about 4 hours sleep. We stayed in a hotel really close by, and it just didn't really help. And it's just going up on stage with so many people who came there to sort of learn about veganism. It was a really amazing day, and sort of we go on, like Steve said, we've been doing other events. 2 weeks ago we did the UK premiere of What the Health with Lush. It's me there with Kip Hansen from Cowspiracy came over, and it's a really amazing event. And these are the topics, the sort of monthly events that have been holding for 160 people in Shoreditch in London. So there's Judy's here. So okay. So Steve said about Swine. How many people in here watch Swine? Enough to show. I'm going to show a trailer. That's it. Yeah. I was sort of, if everyone had seen it, I was like, oh no, I won't show the trailer. But here we go.
For decades, the unregulated and out-of-control factory farming industry has been abusing antibiotics. Swine exposes the global health crisis the world's most cruel and destructive industry is trying to keep quiet. Resistance is coming, and we are running out of time. The question is, will we do something about it?
So, Swine give you all nightmares with what's going on. The idea with Swine was to create something that was a documentary and a dramatisation, basically. So the idea is to create something that sort of hook people with a drama. So it starts with a drama with Tim Sheep, where he's investigating outbreak of MRSA on factory farms in the UK, and he gets spooked, and then things sort of go from there. And it then goes into a documentary. It talks about how antibiotic resistance in factory farms is basically developing. Bugs like MRSA, E. coli are rife, and it's going to be the next big epidemic. So yeah, you can watch that film. That's watchline.today on YouTube. The full documentary's there. So yeah, I write films sometimes, and like Steve mentioned, we help people tell stories about the brands. So the Growing Box became Vevolution, and so now we're working with some vegan brands. One called Plant Curious, which is like a vegan HelloFresh that's launching. All Plants, who are really cool vegan frozen meals direct delivery service, and the Green Party. And previous clients have included the likes of Viva, obviously, The Guardian, One Planet Pizza, Care, and Friends of the Earth. So my background is as a communicator, mostly working in digital strategy and also writing. So this is kind of my sideline, my hobby, writing articles, and I wish I could do more of it. It's just time. So I write for the Huffington Post, and this is the article Steve talked about earlier this year, which had 3,500 shares nearly on Facebook, which was crazy, and had all these like heroes of mine, like Jean Bauer from Farm Sanctuary and Vitrol sharing my article, and it was great. And this one a few years ago had 10,000 shares. So for me, writing these articles is a really great way to get the vegan message out there into the mainstream and kind of beyond that kind of bubble of vegan advocates, you know. So it's really important that I try and do some of these. So I'm going to sort of tell my story before going into kind of how I believe we can kind of shape vegan culture, and some suggestions of how we can do that. No definitive roadmap by any means, but just my ideas. So this is me, about 1991. Kind of cool retro tracksuit, looking back. I think I'd wear that if I had that now. My brother. And I was just a kind of normal guy, you know. I like football, I like cricket. I was very, compassionate to my friends and family, but I just didn't really think about the world beyond my kind of surroundings and my situation. It's very focused on going to university and playing school, and I was a very stereotypical guy, and I never thought I'd end up being some vegan activist, but it kind of happened. So I was just going along my normal life, and I saw something on TV about how kebabs were made, and I remember going to work the next day, and I went straight to my boss's office, and I worked for a small magazine at the time, and I said, you have to watch this thing I saw on TV. It was incredible. Like, I just couldn't believe what was happening, you know, like, we eat this. And, you know, I hadn't made any connection at that point. I don't think I even knew a vegetarian. And I was probably about 19, 20 years old. And I was really shocked, and it just started that kind of thing in the back of my mind, starting to think, where's my food coming from? And kebabs straight away went out the window, and that I see that as the start of kind of my relationship changing with food. And kind of fast forward a few years, I kind of got a bit funny about what meats I was eating and stuff, and I was kind of, even without, I didn't at this point think being vegetarian was an option. It just hadn't crossed my mind. I don't think I really knew anyone who's vegetarian, and I sort of 22, 23, and I went travelling and really opened my eyes to climate change, because I was just surrounded by this amazing beauty, but, you know, I was diving in Thailand and the coral was completely destroyed. I was in Australia, and, you know, there's bleached white coral, and these things that are just unbelievably beautiful were just vanishing before my eyes, and I was seeing kind of the impact of consumerism and kind of tourism, which obviously has a massive part of being there, on the islands and on nature. And it just, something in me changed, and I came back and I just felt like a completely different person, and that person we left before just didn't exist anymore, and there was someone else who had to find his way in the world. And I came back and I was really keen to learn, and I started learning in whatever way I could. And I had a Discovery Channel and Animal Planet, and I watched the Werewolves, the Sea Shepherd series that was on TV at the time, and it started me thinking about marine animals. I remember watching a film called End of the Line as well, that had a massive impact on me about marine animals as like beautiful sentient beings. And I remember being shocked at how big tunas were and how big these fish were that, you know, just come to the can, and it just started to really impact me and make me think about the world. And Naomi Klein's writings with No Logo and Shock Doctrine also really influenced me and made me think about capitalism and how the economy that existed basically was exploiting people on the planet. And I found that a really powerful book as well for me at that time. And so I moved to London. I was in London, and I was feeling really, really scared about climate change. This was like 2009, in the run up to the Copenhagen summit, and this was billed as our last chance to stop dangerous climate change, which happened again 6 years later, which was our second last chance. And now it's still ongoing. And anyway, I was reading the Evening Standard one day, which isn't a regular habit, and I came across a little column by this woman, Tamsin Omond, and it was talking about Copenhagen Summit and how she felt about climate change and our generation, the 24-year-olds at the time, like what we should be doing and how we've been let down by politicians, and it just really resonated with me, completely connected with me, and I felt that I just need to get to know this person. She feels the same way I feel. Why don't I know anyone who feels like this as well? And so through Twitter, I made it my mission to kind of track her down in a non-stalky kind of way. And I joined a group called Climate Rush, and we were a suffragette-inspired advocacy group around climate change. And so we did all fun stuff like blocking Euston Junction for 4.5 minutes. And this is me getting married to Shell. It wasn't legally binding. It's all good. Basically, we used art to do our activism. That was our main tactic, to directly confront politicians and the media with creative expressions about why we need to tackle climate change. And it was really successful for a period of time. Climate Rush was the #1 kind of direct action group in the UK for a number of years, and it was really, really fun and also really empowering to, feel like you have power to make change. You're going to do something the next day, it'd be in the Guardian or the Evening Standard, and you're like, okay, people are starting to take notice of this as an issue. So that was my activism story for a few years, and in January 2011 I stopped eating meat and went vegetarian, and I was vegetarian for a couple of years, and I became vegan in 2013, and I was coming up to my 30th birthday, that happened, and I worked on the first Veganuary campaign. So the very first one, 2014, I ran the digital communications for. And obviously, Veganuary's gone to be a massive success and super successful. And after that, I just kept coming back to that. I need to work on veganism. I want to be working on vegan projects. I want to be doing things like what Veganuary are doing to promote veganism worldwide. And I was working at The Guardian on their Keep It in the Ground campaign, so their big global divestment campaign targeting Gates and the Wellcome Foundation. And that was a dream for me, really. I'd always thought I'd love to work at The Guardian. Wouldn't it be amazing? Bastion of liberal journalism. This is my natural home. If I'm ever going to go and work in an organisation, it's going to be The Guardian. And it was great, I was working on climate change, massive thing I've been passionate about, but something in the back of my head was like, this just doesn't feel right. I need to be doing something else. And that thing was veganism. So any time I was spare minute, I'd be writing an article, I'd be thinking of ideas, I'd be talking to my friends, and I was 30 and I sort of thought, well, I've got to do it. If it's not now, it's never. So I felt very motivated to create a vegan world, and these were kind of the reasons why. 141 billion animals die a year because of clothing or food. It's just unbelievable the amount. If you think of, it's 7 billion people on the planet, 1,400 times the amount of people on the planet every year. And I just felt that I needed to talk about veganism because of climate change as well. We've got no planet, we've got no animals, we've got nothing. We're on the path of catastrophic climate change. Polar ice caps are going to melt probably next summer. There's going to be no ice in the Arctic. So it's happening, and also I believe veganism helps us be happier and healthier people. I've ran, since going vegan, I've ran a couple of marathons. This is in Toronto, and I really believe that it's a great motivation for me to promote veganism for so many different reasons. So, I thought about what were my skills, what am I good at? And I've always been good at talking to people, and I've always liked people, I thrive around people, I'm an extroverted person, so I've always been good at connecting people. And there's this book, The Tipping Point, and it talks about how when things go viral, how things spread, and one of the key people in spreading a big idea is a connector. It's someone who masters the casual acquaintance, someone who is a root of a lot of friendship groups. I'm always the person, if I meet someone, almost instantly I'm thinking, oh, they would get on really well with this friend, and I make it my mission to kind of connect them up. And I just was chatting to Lewis from Grazer, and he was telling me I've connected him up with someone who might be really important to his business. And as soon as I met this person, they told me something. I was like, okay, Lewis might be good to meet him. And now that he just said to me that might change his life, that introduction that I've made recently. So I love introducing people, and I read this book called Icarus Deception by Seth Godin. Has anyone heard of Seth Godin?
Young one.
It's good. Head of the track. So he talks about comfort zone. And you know, in a company where there's less jobs, where computers are taking over a lot of what people have traditionally done, and organisations are becoming more lean and sort of relying less on having people there for 20, 30 years, that actually maybe the comfort zone wasn't being in the organisation. Maybe that the safest place to be was outside of a big organisation, and actually to, you know, create your own future. And I just, you know, I'd had like jobs in big organisations, and this just really felt like the right thing, you know, to not be reliant on these corporations that will make you work longer hours, treating you badly, just like pushing down your pay, but to create something that was part of what I believed in. So I was very influenced by that book, and I decided that we'd create Vegan Futures. So this was a one-off event that happened in November 2015, and I can't believe it was like 20 months ago. It feels like so much has changed for me personally and since then. And then we held it at Trampoline, where we now hold our monthly events in London, Shoreditch. And it was, I wanted to create this event because I realised that there were lots of people who I knew who were really inspiring. They just didn't know each other. I knew them because I was seeking them out in different areas of my life. And I wanted to bring them all together to talk about important issues of how we could create a vegan world. And that was really, really cool and really brought a lot of people together. But it kind of sparked something in me, and I thought, okay, this is good, but we can do something even better. So then me and Judy started to work out what Vevolution would be. And so we didn't just want to create an event where people come and have a lovely day and learn stuff and eat good food. We want to create a global change about how people think about food and how people think about animals and how people think about the environment. So we want to always put education front and centre of what we do. So we do have sponsors, we have brands that work with us, but always our big space is dedicated to education. That is our mission, to educate the world about veganism and to make veganism something that is attractive to everyone. So we set up Vevolution in November 2016. We had 500 people gather in Shoreditch in London at the Oval space for the conference, and it was like I said, mega stressful. I had no sleep, but it was really amazing. And you know, we really invested a lot in the tech to make sure it was really the best it could be for the event, and you know, we made sure people came away with like amazing goodies, but we made the focus all about education on the day. And something we did at these events is that we film all the talks. So a big part of our mission is to create vegan TED Talks. That's what we kind of call it, vegan TED Talks. So we've now got 25 talks that you can view for free on our vegan iPlayer at vevolution.co/videos. And these are 20-minute talks by people we're really inspired by, and they've all sorts of topics from health and fitness to activism to food. We kind of pick the people who really inspire us and give them a platform to talk. And by the end of 2016, we're going to have over 50 talks available for free. And we invested a lot of our money actually in recording these in the most professional way possible. And it's really important to us that we do that and make this freely available, because we understand that not everyone can get to London on a Tuesday night. Not everyone can spend £30 on a ticket to come to our events, but you know, someone in Thailand or wherever could watch our videos and be inspired to go vegan. So that's really important that we invest money into that. And so we had Vevolution in November, and then we came to Vevolution topics. So these are topical events, like Steve mentioned, that focus on health and well-being. We had one on food innovation, we had one on activism, and the last one was on ethical fashion. Yeah, got there. But we're having a 1 month, and as you can see, they're really, really well attended, and we have lots of little stalls there for people to try vegan food, and they've been super, super fun. And like we found by bringing people together more regularly, we started to really get such a positive energy and a lot of returning people who became really good friends, and just building that community and bringing us together regularly really has been a powerful thing. So I'm going to show you a video from our activism, which was last month. We're here tonight at Vevolution Topics Activism Campaigning. Tonight is all about spreading vegan message in a positive, light-hearted, interesting, creative way. To be an activist, it doesn't mean shouting on the streets, it can be making films, writing articles, telling your story with passion and compassion. That's what tonight is all about. Sharing the love, sharing the passion, and actually building stronger, more creative vegan movement.
Who've got powerful and inspiring stories for them to be able to showcase what they've experienced and their journeys, and this is why we're doing this event tonight with the amazing speakers that we've got lined up.
If we want people to think differently about fish, or in fact any beings we fight for, it doesn't have to do with just the ocean, we can greatly benefit from the changing the language that we use when speaking about them. So many issues surrounding the ocean. It really kind of made me question why not enough people knew about this issue.
Every step makes for a huge impact and huge change. So to be encouraging, non-judgmental, and to be as helpful and compassionate as possible is going to get a lot of people to come to this movement that might not otherwise have come.
It was only when I stopped eating animals that I actually felt a connection with them. Up until that point, I couldn't have cared less. But when I did, it was one of those rare seminal moments in your life that completely changed my priorities and replotted my life entirely.
Just go out, be yourself, be your truest self, be your best self, be a happy self, and people will just like swarm to your infectious nature of like how you're trying to be good.
Think about what are you good at? If you're good at cooking, if you're good at tattooing, if you're good at, I don't know, talking, if you're good at whatever it is, whatever you're good at, use that to create change, whether it's changing one person's opinion or two people's opinion or getting someone to cut out chicken from their diet. We don't need someone to go vegan, it's just small steps and it's getting people to think and slowly create change.
So I guess at the very beginning I was quite terrified of even approaching people with the conversation about veganism and activism and zero waste. The small steps that you make really build and you really become a lot more confident and able to really speak freely, especially when you have the knowledge and you've done the research so you understand what it is that you're trying to be an activist for, and that is always the best way to ensure that you can make a big impact.
Okay, so that was Vevolution activism and campaigning. Come back to the presentation quickly. We're back. Good. So, as you can see, we've been doing these monthly. It's been really, really great. And I'm going to go on now to talk about how I can create carnage, basically. Hands up if you've seen Carnage. Not everyone, most people in the room. So it's a new mockumentary by Simon Amstel, the comedian, set in 2067, where the UK has gone vegan and young people are absolutely shocked that their grandparents used to eat meat and animal products. So it's gonna, in this world, veganism kind of got to the point where it became really popular because people were compassionate. Vegans were compassionate and they made it look attractive and appealing to people to be vegan. So a few things. I think we need to be compassionate to non-vegans. So look, I was a pretty nice guy before I was vegan. I had a bit of a dodgy haircut, yeah. But generally, like, I was a nice guy. But I just didn't know. And this was like, you can make all kind of excuses, pre-YouTube kind of thing, but I just didn't know. And it doesn't mean because someone isn't vegan they're not a good person. I think everyone has it in them to be, is inherently good, and we can educate them and lead by example and don't judge them. You know, our family, it's really hard. I know it's really hard when you see your family, someone you love, eating animal products, because you know that what it's come from, you know what it's doing to them, you know what it's doing to the environment, you know what it's an animal, you know, who can think and feel, and it's really sad. But you need to lead by example. You need to make them your vegan food. You need to kind of be positive about what you're doing and how it's affecting you. If it's making you feel great and you're running marathons, talk about that. don't judge them, just lead by example, and you'll find that they come with you. You know, my brother used to be the biggest meat eater, and now he's not vegan, but he's did veganuary and he's pretty vegan. You know, my mum is vegetarian now, and when I first went home and said, Mum, actually I'm a vegetarian now, I'm not well for my vegan, she turned around and said to me, why can't you just be normal? Why can't you just be normal? And last week she went to get her blood tests, and sort of she called me up and said, Damien, I just got my results back from my blood tests, and all my blood pressure's down. Both her sisters take a medication for blood pressure. She has takes medication for underactive thyroid. That's improved massively. Every ailment she's had, and kind of, it's just all the stats are just better. You know, her iron levels are good, B12's good, and I was like, and she said to me, I feel really committed now to finally being fully vegan, and she was like, why can't you be normal? So I'm still not normal, so she's just learned to live with it. Okay, so don't judge why people are vegan. You see this a lot, you know, people go vegan, then all of a sudden they're like, I'm only vegan for the animals, and it's like, well, I believe that everyone eventually finds space in their heart for the animals and comes around. If someone goes vegan because they like kiwi smoothies, you know, they always come back to the animal because you feel more connected with nature. I think you feel more connected with the world around you. And I've seen so many people who go vegan for health, and then it's all about the animals. One guy, Adam, who I know, and I met before he was vegan, actually at a mutual friend's dinner party, and he spoke at Vevolution a couple of months ago, and he went vegan first off purely for health, and the other day he was speaking at our event, and he was like, just every extra rep I do when I'm bench pressing is for the animals. People make the connection finally. As a result of not eating animals, you feel more connected to everything around you, all the nature around you, all the birds, the bees, the trees, the lot. And you know, I originally, I would be honest and say, I stopped eating meat because I was petrified about climate change. I hadn't really looked into the animal rights stuff yet, but I did, you know, thanks to the work of Viva and Animal Ways and those amazing videos they had on YouTube, learn more about that eventually. And you know, I came now, you know, animals, health, environment are all super important, and I think just like, if someone's vegan, just embrace that, or on that journey, embrace that for whatever reason that is. So this is a hard one to talk about, and it goes against how, as vegans, we often will feel. You know, the culture of eating animals is dehumanizing to people. Who would want this job, you know? Even before you were vegan, would you want this job? It's terrible. It's terrible, and these people are paid not even minimum wage, you know, they work 70-hour weeks. There's not, in fishing industry, it's often people on slave boats, you know, doing prawn fishing in Thailand, and these are real issues, human slavery and dehumanizing to people who work in these industries. So, like I said, we live in a culture that is non-vegan. We live in a non-vegan world, and this person just hasn't made the connection. And you know, I don't think she looks very happy, to be honest. So I think we recognise that the whole culture of eating animals is hurting humans as well as animals. It's important. So politicians need to talk about animal rights, and as a movement, we're not really doing a very good job at talking to them. We're doing a good job of shouting at them, but we're not talking to them. So, you know, in the Houses of Parliament, how often do you hear an MP get up and talk about animal rights and their constituencies coming to them about animal rights? You really don't. You know, we've had fox hunting recently, and which is, no matter what she says, it's actually legal fox hunting in this country, unofficially, because the jury and the judges, the head police commissioners, they all hunt, the MPs, they all hunt, and it's just not enforced. Wildlife crime, as a law, it's just not enforced. So it's almost a distraction. You know, we need to be talking about getting CCTV in factory farms. We need to be really talking about antibiotic resistance, because it's a massive, massive issue that is just being totally ignored. So, you know, we know that people in the UK generally, even people who eat meat, if you ask them, do they care about animal rights? They'll say, yeah, surely, I want my pig to be treated well. I love my dog. But actually, the way animals are treated, as people know, is really badly in factory farms, and people just don't make that connection. We need to do a better job of telling that story. So, make politicians talk about animal rights. How can we do it? We're being creative. This is a thing Climate Rush did just before I joined. When they did a massive Viagra, it's this tablet, it's not a Tic Tac, and they took it to Nick Clay's house and left it on his front door, so to get hard on climate change. And so that was in the media the next day because it's funny and it was timely, and Nick Clegg had been sort of like wobbling on climate change, and this person here actually died this week, and I sort of only knew her very little bit, and she was my age in her early 30s, and I was going through looking for things to put in, and I found this picture, and I thought, I'll put this one in, and she obviously, I didn't know her that well, I met her a couple of times, we had a lot of close mutual friends, but her life was short, really, but with her time she made a difference, and she really talked about things that she cared about, and I felt that was time, I should put that one in maybe. And lobbying, we should talk to politicians. Every one of us can go and speak to our MP. You can go, you might get their caseworker, but you can go and meet your MP. They have monthly sessions where you can drop in and tell them about the issues you care about. So if you care about animal rights, you can go and talk to them about it. If you care about veganism, go and talk to them about that. And we need to start putting it on their radar. And so it becomes a situation where they know if they don't enforce, if they don't care about animals, they're not going to get voted in. We're growing, we're going to get bigger and bigger, we have power as voters. So we need to make sure that they know that they need to be active on animal rights. Okay, so I believe creativity is really important to promoting the vegan message, and however you do that, is up to you. Like, what is your skill set? What are you passionate about? Like for me, I write, so I write films, I write articles, and I'm a connector, so I bring people together. If you're an artist like Francesca Page, you can do beautiful art. If you're the Earthlings Experience or a Save movement, go and do that. If you're passionate about that, do that. If you're a filmmaker, you want to make films. Films are so powerful. Doing the screening of What the Health with Kip Hansen, who made Cowspiracy, just talking to him about the impact that film has had, it's just unbelievable, So if you're passionate about something, do that. If you're Lewis and you want to put a vegan dating app, go and do that too, because these are all things that make veganism normal. They make them accepted and make it part of the mainstream culture. And share your passion, really. I think it's a continuation. Like if you make food is a way to people's hearts. Food is a way to connecting people to veganism. And vegan food's delicious and amazing. So we should be shouting from the rooftops about that. So these are some amazing mud pies that the guys at Young Vegans made recently, and I thought I'll share them too. That's it. Thank you for listening. We can do it, guys.
Thanks very much, Damien. Brilliant talk. Got time for a couple of questions. Damien will be here for the Q&A at 4:30. But any burning questions now? Anybody wants to ask anything?
Yep, so the next Vevolution will be in November, the next big 500 people conference. The series of monthly events have finished for now, but there might be some one-off special events that we're planning as well. So if you go to our website, sign up to our newsletter, and you'll be the first to know about that.
And they are brilliant events, really brilliant. I'll tell you what, as a kind of a late coming to the event organisation space, we aspire to what you guys are doing. Really, really good. So I urge you to get along to those. Any other questions? No? Okay. Thanks very much again, Damien. It's brilliant. The next talk will start at 3:30 with Nick Bean talking about the history of carnism, which I urge you to come along to that. It's really interesting. Thanks a lot.